Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dragon Talk. I am Greg Tito, and I am joined, as always, by...
Me.
What's her name again?
Shelly.
Shelly! I'm so glad you're here.
Hi, I love your sweater.
I love yours, too.
I'm just going to say, oh, thanks.
Yeah, you're like a star.
Kind of like a star.
You
and
are
you're like an ampersand.
I'm an and.
A glowing ampersand.
We are joined here in the studio by an amazing... I think this is the first for Dragon Talk.
Yep.
Maybe for the world. An elected state official is here. How's it going? Mr. Steve
I
Hobbs.
feel like we should raise a flag or something.
Yes,
Something.
the flag of
Like
Cascadia?
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
I love it. Welcome, Steve Hobbs. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm going to try not to geek out too much and nerd out too much because I'm a big fan of your show.
Aw.
So, big fan of your show.
Thank
Do
you.
you know what show you're on?
Yes, I'm on
Okay.
Dragon
Just
Talk.
making
Yes.
sure.
And
Thought it was like Critical Role or something.
because today is, and I know time is meaningless on a podcast, but today is Monday. It is D&D night for me.
Oh,
yes.
nice.
So I'll be out around the table later tonight at 6 p.m. playing D&D.
That's a pretty good day. Having come here, come to the office, talking to Shelly, because it's
Right.
annoying talking to me.
I'm
But
that
then, you get to show off all of your nerd cred, not only here on the podcast, but then back home with your group.
Playing your products,
Nice.
helping out your company.
What are you playing right now?
I am playing Waterdeep Dragon Heist.
Oh, timely.
Yes. I am not the DM on this one.
Okay.
But you're
Yes.
what character are you playing?
I am playing a wizard this time.
Oh.
I am.
Is this different for you?
It is. I played a fighter last night because it's so easy. I just bash things.
Yeah.
Right? Wizard's a little, you got to think. And you can't waste all those spells, otherwise you have nothing.
Right.
And then
Right.
next thing you know, you're dead.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why I've stopped playing a wizard.
Oh.
I realize now it's actually hard.
It is hard. Yeah, you have to come up with a whole new creative solutions for things. Obviously, you can always be like that bang, bang, zoom, zoom, missiles
but you
and
do
fireballs.
Have to think and be strategic and not use up all your spells.
That's right.
Yeah, that's very hard to do.
And sometimes it is fun to just play the fighter and smash.
You
It
know your
is.
place. Like, I have to go first.
Be a meat shield.
Yeah.
Right?
This
Yeah.
is my role.
You don't really have to think that much.
Protecting the peeps. It's very, you win a lot of political points, right?
Yeah.
You get more constituents when you're a meat shield.
Right. That's the strategy.
That's right.
There you go, melding
I
your
will
worlds
be
again.
Your meat shield, Cascadia.
That's right.
Vote for me.
Ich benign Waterdeep. or Waterdavian.
Right.
That's so cool. So, I mean, we were chatting a little bit before. There aren't a lot of folks who admit to being Dungeons and Dragons fans who are in state assemblies.
Yes. So, yes, I'm going to admit it. I'm out. I'm a D&D fan, and I play board games. And the reason is not only because I grew up with it and why I want to talk about it is because it's a big and important industry here,
That's
especially
right.
here in Washington State, and I know it's elsewhere. Like your company has, 500, 600 people. On top of that, you have private contractors that you put out jobs for, conventions, artists, writers. It's a huge industry. And so I want to educate our elected officials about this industry here in Washington State because it's not just about airplanes and Microsoft and Apples. It's also exporting fun.
I like that. I send out boxes of fun all the time to people.
Exporting fun.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love this. You could actually maybe, take the Evergreen State away and just say Washington, where the magic happens. Because it's true.
Ooh.
It happens here.
That's good.
Oh, and the D&D. Oh, and the Avalon Hill.
Yes. Yes.
And the Pokemon and all that other stuff that happens here, too.
This is getting to be a very long slogan. I don't think they can put that on
Can you put
license
that on a
plates anymore.
license plate? But it is true. There are a number of gaming companies right here in
That's right.
our backyard.
Paizo, Pokemon, and the smaller ones too. You got Green Ronin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here,
Amazing.
and these are all companies that are contributing to the Washington State economy and the economy as a whole. And I've met a couple artists, and I have my own podcast, Geeks of Cascadia, where I've talked to artists where they rely on tabletop gaming to put food on the table. Right. So no, it's pretty huge. And the convention, we have a convention. We have OrcaCon, and look, it helps the hotels, the local restaurants, the food trucks that we're going to have. So
That's true.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's got this whole sphere of influence around it. And I don't think a lot of people realize, even here in Washington State, that so many games that you play are worked on and made and created. The rules are created here. Because I meet people all the time through my kids or whatever, and I'll say I'll work for Wizards of the Coast or Dungeons and Dragons, and routinely many of them will say, "Oh, like the store."
Yes, I always hear that too.
And
the stores are still open,
and they're not.
No.
But on the East Coast, I never saw those stores, or there was very rare. I mean, I mentioned this a couple of times, but like they never really made it, across the Mississippi to be as prevalent. But it's a thing that it comes from this area.
I love talking to a fellow representative or a fellow senator and going, you know about D&D? Oh, yeah. I've seen, nerds play it, or have you seen Magic the Gathering? Yeah, I've seen kids play that. Yeah, everyone plays it. A lot of kids play it. I go, did you know it's made here? No.
They didn't know.
They didn't know.
They don't know.
Now, the next thing I want to do is try to bring the manufacturing side of it, because that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, think about all those cards around the world, and think about all the books. I read that, I think, Greg, maybe you brought up that Xanathar's Guide was like the #1 bestseller on Amazon for a while, right?
Yeah.
Many of the lists. It was on the USA Today for
Right.
all
Wall Street
books
Journal,
list,
it's
Wall
been-
Street
Right.
Journal.
So this
in
is
nonfiction.
Nonfiction book.
which I don't know how that happens, but whatever. Let's
It's
go
rules.
with it. Let's
It's,
go with it.
that, sure.
So you got this hardcover book made from what? Paper.
Right.
So let's try to bring that here, and so that this one of the goals I'm trying to do is bring manufacturing here into this state. If I can help, I'd love to do that.
I would love you to do that.
Oh, well,
As someone who makes board games.
I hear there's lots of trees.
There's lots of trees.
We don't need all those
We have a
trees.
robust timber industry here in
right.
the state of Washington.
Heard of it.
That might
and
make
sense. People actually come to Wizards from other places just to visit. Like they will,
I believe
it's like
it,
a
yeah.
tourist destination. Every now and again, you see
believe it.
someone in the lobby and they're just taking pictures. Or
Yeah.
like it's so weird to work for a place that people want to just come visit.
Well, what I love about Wizards and I love about D&D is the promotion of diversity and inclusion. That is a positive message that we like to convey in Washington State. And you can see it in your products.
Yeah.
I mean, when I can open, I'm half Japanese. When I open up a D&D product, I can see someone that looks like me.
Yeah.
I can play a character that's like me.
Yeah.
And that is the type of lessons that we want to, and values that we want to convey. So it's a great industry to promote.
I love it. I love it. Get more of them playing.
That's right.
I feel like there is time to play Dungeons & Dragons in between sessions, in between committee meetings.
Let's see if we can get that going. Yeah.
I think that it could be something that could really help, bring the parties together as well.
Literally,
the party.
literally
Yeah,
bringing the party together.
Yes.
Ooh,
like-
cross the aisle parties coming
Yeah.
together. That's really, there's something to that because I think what Dungeons & Dragons, creates a situation where people from different walks of life and very different political opinions. You think about, a chaotic good character is very different than a lawful good character.
Yes.
And they are all working towards the same common goal.
Well, I was thinking there are some senators and representatives and lobbyists that have poker night, right? There's a group that thinking maybe we should have D&D night.
I think you
once a
should. I
week,
really do.
I'll come in and Dungeon Master for you.
Okay.
If you need it.
Live stream it.
Oh no.
This is going to be good. No, I really, because the things that happen at the table tend to spill out into real life. Like the people that I play D&D with, I just feel like more of an affinity towards those people in real life. So I think we're onto something here.
We
I
should.
think
We
could solve this great political divide.
I like it. So how long have you been playing Dungeons & Dragons? You said you started way back in the day.
I played way back in the day in the mid-'70s, I want to say. AD&D or second edition. A buddy of mine, his brother played D&D. He
Nice.
took his books, and we didn't know what we were doing. And he was the DM, and he combined different things. It was like a tank, and there was a green slime on it.
Oh, nice.
Did you say a tank?
Yeah, it's tank, like an actual tank. Where we're just kids.
Yeah.
But that evolved over the years, and I kept up with it until about early '90s. I think that's when I had to stop. Not because I didn't
a
want
good
to.
run.
I loved it, but I had a military obligation. I spent several years on active duty, and they played a lot in the military.
Yeah,
I
I
was
was gonna
I was
say.
so busy with my job that I never got a chance to do it. And then I as a senator, I actually did a tour here at Wizards of the Coast. We had a really short game. Chris Perkins ran it.
Nice.
I nerded out. And I'm sorry, Chris Perkins. I really nerded. I went out of character. I shouldn't have done that, but I couldn't help it. Right? I couldn't. He's probably frustrated. But the 5th edition was so amazing, and I went, I got to get back into this.
Nice.
So I went back into it. I was already into board games anyway. We have the convention that we're putting together. I went, I gotta get back into this, and it is a great escape. It really is, because I'm not dealing with politics,
Right.
unless it's in Faerun. Then I gotta deal with it.
Then you just deal with the normal machinations and assassinations that would happen in those areas. Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, there's something to that because you can turn off the stresses of the world a little bit. And it's not like they're unimportant, but you just can be like, all right, I'm going to put that to the side for now and focus on some made up make-believe problems and then solve those and then hopefully use that positivity and bring it back to your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So talk a little bit about the OrcaCon.
Oh, thank you so much for bringing that up.
Right, because I don't think any of us knew that you were
I did not know that.
A co-founder of it.
Yeah.
We've been definitely supporting OrcaCon.
You guys have been there every single time. Thank you. Yes. So, yes, OrcaCon, we've only been doing it for a few years now. We started off, we thought, oh, man, we're only going to, hopefully we get enough people to pay for the hotel rooms. Oh, my goodness. But we had plenty of people. 800 people showed up.
For the first year?
For the first year.
That's great.
For the first year. And then it grew to, about 900, 1,000. I think we 1,200 last year. We'll probably have more. No, we had 1,000 last year. I think we'll have 1,200 this year.
Nice.
I mean, we met our room goal already.
And it's in Bellevue, right?
It is in Bellevue, January 11th through the 13th. You can go to orcacon.org to get your tickets, and we still have them. We've got 3-day adult registration at $70, and we got 3-day children's registration at $50, and you can go on the day of the con to get single-day tickets. And we've got a lot of great panels going on. In fact, Jeremy Crawford will be there, so be sure to see that.
Awesome. When did you say when this is?
Yes, it is January 11th through the 13th.
Oh, it's coming up.
Very soon.
Which is the weekend just before session starting. So on that Sunday where I'm done, the Monday morning I'll be driving from the hotel to Olympia, where I'll be sworn in for my next 4th term and starting legislation. So
excellent. Yeah. See, man, you're making a good run of it here.
I am.
So what was the? OrcaCon was the one that was kickstarted, correctly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was kickstarted.
What was what was the goals for that as opposed to say other conventions that are already like here in the area?
It was a couple of years ago, so I can't remember other than, we wanted to sell X amount of tickets to pay for everything because we were afraid we were going to get stuck with the bill.
Well, it was just like, hey, we wanted to start a convention and let's just do it.
That's exactly what happened. We hung out at Dragonflight, which you guys actually, I've seen Jeremy there at Dragonflight, and I was saying, man, I want to do my own con.
Nice.
And originally, we want to do our own con in Snohomish County. But that didn't work out because it grew too much and there was problems, so we moved up to Bellevue. But January is a great time because you get low rates.
Yeah. And it's just a kind of a depressing time here in the Northwest, so it gives you something to look forward to.
It's true.
And we have a lot of folks that come by and check it. Local game designers that come by. Chris Pramus and Wolfgang Bauer show up. I know they've been on your show before.
Friend of the show.
True.
That's right. That's right.
Chris has been on at least once. We'll talk to him more for sure.
And they get to be civilians.
Yeah.
Play games. So it's kind of cool.
So what's the focus of OrcaCon?
So our focus is just tabletop gaming.
Okay.
We really push for the inclusion and diversity. And we'll have certain themes. I think the first year was LGBTQ. And then I think last year was Native Americans. And so every year we try to change it up, and try to grow. And that's why our panels are designed in such a way to promote inclusion and diversity and create a safe environment. And of course, have fun, right?
Yeah.
You can't do any of this unless you have fun.
That's right.
And so you have all these folks. And what I really love is when you see these new developers come in, the future Chris Pramuses and Wolfgang Bauers and Peter Atkinson's there trying to show their wares.
Yeah.
And that is so amazing to do that. And the synergy you get, because there'll be artists there. So maybe an artist talks to a game designer and poof, you got a game.
That is pretty cool. Yeah, I love that too. And I think that's. I mean, we've heard from talking to people that that's 10, 20 years ago when they went to their first gaming convention, they made those contacts, and they ended up connecting and making something together. You know, we just had PAX Unplugged in Philly this past weekend. That I feel like a lot of that was happening there too.
Yeah, and I've gone to Gen Con. Went to Gen Con one time. It was like their 50th, and it was really neat seeing the those game designers trying to really push their wares out there at Gen Con and doing really well.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's hard to do. It's not.
Oh yeah, a lot of them. People think that you get in this business, you're going to be like a millionaire, right? That's not the case. You know, a lot of them have actual jobs because they actually need to put food on the table and they need health insurance, right? So you don't get health insurance if you're just designing games on your own. So.
That's your job.
That's right. That is right.
But you could.
We could.
You could.
Maybe that's a platform for
Well,
you.
It's almost like most of the world does that.
Well, and actually, I've been trying to talk to some of the game designers and the retailers to kind of create an association to help them actually access health insurance and pension.
This is amazing.
That's a smart idea.
Like you're really doing great things for our little industry here.
I'm trying, but because we need to foster it. It's like I don't want it to go away.
Yeah.
Right. I want it to grow.
And why do you think a lot of companies like you described, why do you think they're here in this area? Do you think it was just a lot of folks ended up in the happenstance and then it kind of grew from there, or what?
Well, I think a lot of it came from the fact that Wizards bought TSR. I think that was the spark, really, that made it happen. And then from there, if you look at the folks that used to work here, Mike Selineker and Wolfgang Bauer, Chris Bramus, all those folks, they've started their own companies.
Yeah.
And they didn't go that far away, right? I mean, they're still around here.
Yeah.
And it just kind of grew and snowballed from there. And so we just need to keep promoting it. I know I joked one time, well, I didn't. It wasn't a joke. It was on accident. We created a law dealing with golf tournaments.
Yeah.
You know? And it was just supposed to deal with golf tournaments. Everyone voted for it. It was a simple bill from Department of Revenue. And we didn't realize that it affected game stores with Magic tournaments.
Because the golf tournaments, Magic tournaments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A regulator
exactly
doesn't know.
the same thing, of course.
Yeah.
You know? But the law was not clear, so a regulator would charge a store, and so I had to help some of these stores out from preventing them from losing their business. $50,000. That's a big hit.
Oh yeah.
For a small mom and pop store.
Yeah.
Yes. And I didn't want this cascade effect to happen, and then these poor retailers go out of business, and then you guys are hurt, and I don't want that to happen.
And the consumers weren't able to have that kind of center of their community.
Yes,
that type of thing.
The intent of the golf tournament bill was not to hurt game stores.
No,
that was not.
Intent matters.
I imagine for you,
in this case,
that's a terrible.
Rule lawyering, being a rule lawyer. Right?
Rules lawyering. I know, right?
Yes.
When you were describing how it happened, I was like, oh, I know that player.
Yes.
That is definitely someone who has been trying to get an extra bonus on their rolls for whatever reason.
That was where, Shelley, you brought it up when you were DM, that's where a regulator went left instead of the right.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. See,
I hate when that happens.
Yeah. That's like being when you write the law, you're like, oh, this would be the best law in the world. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, no, they went the wrong way.
And that happens. You craft a bill, and everybody looks at it. All the lawyers look at it. All the lobbyists look at it. But sometimes we get it wrong.
Nobody was thinking about the Magic tournaments.
Nobody.
I don't know how that could have been overlooked. It's just well.
Oops.
They're lucky that they have you on their side.
Yeah, and hopefully, and that's why we need to create an association and get people involved in this because more things like that could happen. Right. And there's incentives out there and policies out there that we do for, let's say, aerospace and the egg community and high tech that we can apply for this industry as well. We just gotta, think about it. Creating policy to help artists and writers, and it all ties into the greater economy. It's a win.
I love it. I think that's really cool. And I just love the fact that I don't even feel like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, an elected official would be like, hey, this is a really big industry and people need to pay attention to it. So that's how much
except for you.
Things have changed. Maybe you were already doing it. But
well, the only reason is because I was at a game convention and one of the store owners came to me and went, hey, I'm being fined $50,000. Like, oh.
Another reason why game conventions are important.
Right.
Yes.
And then you dig into it, it's like, oh, I voted for this golf tournament bill.
This is my fault.
We got to fix this. Yes. And that's why I'm totally embracing this.
Right. Right. I feel like, a lot of people who listen to this aren't in the United States system. So, I want to make sure people know kind of where we are on the civics lesson here. So you are a state senator, so you write legislation for Washington State only.
Yes, only for Washington State. Washington State has its own Senate and House. It's like a mini version of the U.S. Congress.
Right. There's the Washington State Constitution, which is different from the United States Constitution, but very similar, right?
And actually, I think your local legislator, whatever state you belong to, or if you're in Canada, you have members of your parliament there. I think they do a lot more for your local community than the bigwigs. Actually, a lot of the tax policy is down at the local level.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? Yeah. And so then the opposite version of that question is, how can we take the lessons that from being an actual, part of the government, in a real world? How can people use some of your knowledge in creating a fantasy government that is interesting and but also feels like it could make sense?
Yes. Well, I think I told you I did my homebrew when I DM'd this campaign, and I did take my experience being an elected official and being in the military and create this background it was not part of the main story, but a background that was happening both politically and the tension that was happening there. But you can use what's happening now into your campaigns, and certainly you can create a lot of storylines from that.
Yeah. How do real legislators, deal with the problems of dragons attacking and things like that?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I don't know if we can pass a bill to stop a dragon attack. I don't know.
Oh, no.
We need to create a magic item that prevents dragons from infiltrating this town.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe a tax or something like that to create a foundry for magical items or something. I don't know.
Right. I like that idea.
That's good.
Yeah, or to fund a magic users guild to create more and more magic items in case they're needed. Break glass for dragon attack.
Well, and your Waterdeep Dragon Heist, which is very interesting. You have these different guilds, which is like having different labor unions.
Right.
Yeah.
And right now we're in the campaign, and we just got the inn, right? But we got to deal with these different these guilds, which I see as like different labor unions, and we're just trying to deal with the right union to get the stuff built, and you're in.
Yeah, and it's about negotiating amongst
right.
the labor pool and making sure everybody feels like they're taken care of. Yeah.
That's why it's like, I'll talk to him.
Yeah, you're like, I know this skill.
That's right.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever played like a senator in a D&D campaign?
I have not. I try to keep those two worlds apart.
Separate.
Do you
Yeah.
tend to play against type, like just a character that's very far from who you are in real life?
Well, I like to say I'm lawful good in real life, but I play chaotic good. And
it's nice to just let go.
That's right.
Yeah, you can be the Robin Hood.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the one time where you can let go. Yeah, I like that.
Have you ever played diplomacy?
I have, and I have the same view you do. It's very frustrating, but I played it twice. Yeah,
I've heard that a lot of politicians actually do play that game.
See, I'm not good at you literally have to backstab in that game. There's just no way around it, right? And unfortunately, I'm like, if you've watched Game of Thrones, I'm like Jon Snow. Like I can't do it. It's hard for me to do. So
Yeah.
I tend to lose on those type of games.
Someone once told me that the way I was behaving in real life, that I was the Ned Stark of the situation. And I was like,
really?
And he was saying it like it was an insult, and I was like, "Whoa, but wait a second, he's the good guy." I mean, he got screwed over at the end, but like that's
somebody told you like they just
They
were trying to insult you.
They were trying to insult me, and I'm like, "Oh, I
and
took
they
that
used
as
Ned Stark as
isn't that crazy?"
See, that's why I like games like Axis and Allies, because you pick your country.
Yeah.
You know who your enemies are. You know who your friends are, and you don't have to. You don't change. You can't change, right? So
right. There's no flipping sides in that game.
So I know I can't be backstabbed. So
that's true. Unless you're playing the new Zombies one.
I'm gonna say actually you can.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Shelley. Oh, so you put diplomacy into the Axis and Allies.
Yeah, I'm going to start putting diplomacy in all my board games. Actually, Betrayal Legacy kind of.
Kind of like that, too.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of that.
Way to go.
Dungeon Mayhem.
Maybe you actually really like that kind of
I
mechanic.
really do like backstabbing.
You just don't like it when it's done to you.
No, I just like to do it.
See, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you on Shelley.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah. Do you ever use any D&D, like dungeon mastering skills when you're out on the campaign trail or trying to get bills passed or working with your staff?
No. I don't do that. I actually use a lot of my military background on the planning and that. But
that makes sense.
But if you combine my military background, dealing with people when I was deployed to Kosovo and Iraq, and a little bit of role play, yeah, that all comes in there. And like you two both have a theater background, and I did a little bit of theater back in the day.
You did?
I did, yes.
What did you do?
Yes,
It's all making sense now.
I did Babes in Toyland.
Nice.
I was the evil Barnaby.
Oh.
Yes, it was a musical. Yeah.
Yeah?
I actually sang. Flowers for Algernon.
Okay.
I was in
Wow.
that one. Our Town, though I was
course.
more of a stagehand, I think, an extra in that one. 1940s Radio Music Hour.
Oh, I don't know that
I was
one.
in that one. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Look it up. Google it. Yeah. There you go. I was the only actor that didn't have to sing, which is great. So
Oh, that's
Ooh,
it.
that's-
That's the best part in a
I'm
musical.
sensing a trend here where you're like, yeah,
that's right.
I act, but I singing not so much.
Well, you can't sing in the legislature. I don't think that would work very well.
You can play
Why?
D&D in the legislature. You can sing in the legislature.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to give it a shot.
We're breaking all the rules.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who says? Just try. See what happens.
It's the best filibuster there is if you're like, do like They Might Be Giant songs, over and over as long as you can. So what did you do in the military? Were you in logistics, it sounds
So
like?
I actually started off in military intelligence.
Oh,
Oh,
I thought that was I didn't know that was a real term. I
That
thought it
was a
a
real
fake
term. That's a real term. Actually, at one point, I worked for the NSA in Hawaii. I was there for a while, and then I became I was enlisted, so I became an officer, put in my officer packet, and they put me in the infantry, and I've been in the infantry ever since. I'm now in the National Guard.
Oh, cool.
I deployed to Kosovo, and I deployed to Iraq, and now I'm a major. So here I am. I'm going to go till they kick me out. There's a lot of D&D players, by the way, and board gamers. And
There are,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because that's
We
we hear that
support
a lot.
them. Yep.
Yeah, Luke Gygax is a big active
he's a
in the military
major
right
in the
now.
National Guard.
Yeah.
I would
And
like
he's
to meet that
constantly going
individual.
on deployments and things like that.
So you're still active military?
Well, I'm in the National Guard, so yeah, I try to still do that. This is another escape. So being in the military and D&D are my two escapes.
Yeah. And as you said, they combine a lot. 'Cause
That's right.
We
Yeah.
hear a lot from folks who are active and deployed who play, and then also when they're not, when they're here back in the States.
I also do I also do my little podcast, Geeks of Cascadia.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about that.
Yes, thank you. I even made a little thing here for it.
That's
So,
right.
Yes.
See, I've got the laptops.
There you
and
go.
got-
Yes. So yeah, Geeks of Cascadia. It's a podcast about tabletop gaming. It's a small local thing, and we have talked to people like Peter Atkinson, Mike Selineker, Lynn Hardy, Andrew Hackard, Owen K. Stevens, Chris Primus, Wolfgang Bauer, so some of the big names.
Sweet.
But we also like to talk to people who are just kind of starting out or mid-level.
Oh, so like us.
Right.
That's right. Like all of us. So Nick Sabicki, who did King's Forge, Chad Gray, who did Goatfish, he did a little Kickstarter, Alex Jarabic, David Gerard. There's a guy, and then I do kind of other side stuff. So Amy Gambala, who does this, who does Dragonflight, I talked to her. Tifa Robles, you know
Oh, yeah.
her. I've had her on the podcast. David Hoppe with Gen Con. David Carnahan, which did this Alexandria RPG. I don't know if you heard of it, but he's like this collector of old RPGs, and he goes from convention to convention to
Oh,
display
cool.
this. Oh, it's great.
Is he the gentleman that does vintage RPGs on Instagram?
I don't know if he does.
Oh, okay.
He might. I don't know. But he's been to different conventions. He was at the recent one, Unplugged one.
Yeah.
It's just so amazing because I go there and went, oh my goodness, Star Frontiers. I haven't played that in a long time. I love Star Frontiers.
There is something great about that kind of sci-fi mashup thing. Yeah.
And then see that red box, the original AD&D red box.
Takes you right back.
It does.
Good stuff.
It does. Yes.
That's really cool.
So Geeks of Cascadia, that's a cool name. I didn't really know what Cascadia was when I moved here 3 years ago.
Now you're one of us.
Now I'm
Both
one.
of you are.
Exactly.
You've only been here 3 years.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy?
Really?
Yeah. 4 years in March.
Huh.
But for folks who don't know about the Pacific Northwest, that idea is pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, it's basically the Pacific Northwest, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of a cultural connection that we have with tied to the environment and our diverse way of life and our inclusion. It's
Sounds awful.
Right.
It's horrible.
Terrible place.
Yes, don't come here.
Doesn't it rain all the time?
It
too?
does rain all the time.
We want people to think that all the time. Yes.
But I've also heard it under the context that people wanted to create like a new state,
Oh yeah,
actually bringing it together.
I heard that. Probably not a good idea, but
Yeah?
unless of course I'm the ruler of it.
Well, that's you would be
Why not?
you'd be the state senator.
I'd
Let's
vote
do it.
for you.
Let's do it.
Or the governor, the governor of.
You are head geek of Cascadia.
Oh, I love that. I love head geek. That's great.
I like that
Let's
a lot
do
too.
that. Mhm.
But yeah, no, there was. I mean, I've seen the flags around, and people are always like, "Well, that's the idea of bringing, was it Washington State, Oregon, and parts of Vancouver together under one flag?"
Remember, there's a fantasy setting. Is it Terry Brooks? It is sort of Shannara or whatever that it takes place right kind of in the Pacific Northwest. So.
And do they refer to it as Cascadia too?
They don't say Cascadia, I don't think. No, but let's call it Cascadia.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do
From
it.
now on.
He lives in our neighborhood as well.
He's also a West Seattle.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mr. Terry Brooks.
I should
Yes.
get him.
Yeah.
Get
You should
him
have
on
him
the
on your podcast.
That's right. Yeah.
We're recruiting for you at this point.
Terry, we know you're listening.
It's true.
I'll doorbell his house.
Yeah, that's right. Ding dong. Maybe you could have gotten away with that before the election too. You'd be like, I'm just.
Yeah, it'd be kind of awkward.
yeah. This is not my district. What?
You could vote in 2 years for me, but
That's right.
really, I just want you on my podcast.
I'll be back in 2 years for the election. So it has been said that in Hollywood, D&D is kind of like a secret handshake. Like if you mention like something, little obscure D&D reference, and someone across the room gets it, it's like yes.
That's right. And
Is
that sometimes happens
Does
with like maybe another lobbyist or. I know that Congressman Derek Kilmer, I hope I'm not diming you out, but he did play D&D in his past.
That's cool.
So he was telling me he's trying to get his daughters to learn how to play it. And I told him, D&D is made right here in Washington State, so you're helping your state by doing that.
What did he know that?
He did not know that.
See?
But he learned.
There you go.
So
Spreading the word.
teaching them.
Getting that word out.
So, I saw some of the pictures that you sent. Was that your children that you were playing with?
I have one with my children. I've
Okay.
got 3 boys, and I was teaching them D&D. And I think you saw a picture. I have a nerd corner in my Senate office. I've got a big D20 that's sitting there, and my comic books.
Yes.
And I was a big fan of Star Blazers, and so I've got some Star Blazers stuff there.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Is that common in the senators' offices?
No.
A nerd corner?
A nerd corner?
I don't think so.
And what I love is it is definitely a conversation starter.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Because you'll folks who visit in the office, and then they'll look at they'll glance at it while they're talking to me, and it's like, okay, they're going to say something.
Yep.
What are they going to say? And all of a sudden it's like, so I know you got some Wolverines there. I go, yeah, I do. Is that the Frank Miller one? Yes.
All right, you're in. All
Yes,
right,
it
good.
is.
Oh,
Yes.
nice. See, it is like a secret. Geekiness
It
is
is.
a secret handshake.
Well, the moment they recognize the D20, then I know they're a role player.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We should give you like a little pin or something that you can just,
Oh,
wear
that's right. That'd be cool.
on your
Be
lapel.
part of the club.
That's right.
Super secret. If anybody knows what that is, you know.
We should definitely do that.
I like.
I can create a caucus, role play caucus.
Yes.
Right.
And then
I love all these
you guys
ideas.
will play, and
That's
it'll
right.
be bipartisan. It'll be. I love it.
I hope I'm not ruining my chances at president. by
No.
doing this. I don't.
It's
think so.
increasing.
I think
the
so,
chances.
definitely.
Like, it's surprising you guys had a big stadium full of people, right? You had like paid $250 to watch D&D.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
For the stream of many eyes,
Can't
we had
even-
tons of them.
I can't even think of it.
Yeah.
Go back in time like 20 years
Right?
ago.
Yeah.
No way.
Well, more than 40 million people have played Dungeons and Dragons since it came out, right? So that's a huge demographic, and that's just North America. That's just
And that's why we need to educate our policymakers about it. Because think about this. You filled a stadium with all these people. They paid $250. They probably stayed in a hotel. They probably ate at a restaurant, right? You had an amazing set there.
Right.
Those artists, those carpenters, hopefully they're union carpenters,
yeah.
they all got paid,
Yeah.
right? They put food on the table.
Well, this is where I tell you this was done in California.
Oh, I know.
It was done
know.
in Waterdeep.
It was in
That's
Waterdeep.
right,
That's
that's
true. Right. So it's all imported,
right.
exported out.
I get that. And you're helping them there. Hopefully you'll come back up here next time. I know you did it. You did it here one time, right?
We did do the Stream of Annihilation
time,
here
yes.
in Belltown. Yeah.
And probably you needed a bigger area, right? I'll work on that.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we need
Also-
something bigger.
See, there you go.
But
See.
then also a lot of all the talent is all based, or many of them are based in
Right,
Los
the-
Angeles. So when we're talking about
The actors.
yes, how we can spread the budget when it's
Yes.
not being spent on carting, hundreds of people across the country or things like
Right,
that.
right.
That's where it gets harder. But I don't know. I mean, if you've got an enticing deal, I'll tell you.
There we go. Yeah, the tax break just
The
for you.
tax, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Policies being made
Yeah,
here.
well, you got to get those actors to live here. That's what you got to do.
Well, we were trying. More and more are moving here. It's crazy.
It's true, actually.
yeah,
Well-
because they love Dungeons and Dragons so much.
They
Well,
need to
a
be
lot of
closer
them-
to the mothership.
There's a lot of them that work in Vancouver.
It's true.
There's a whole thing up there in Vancouver.
Yeah.
So
So we got to steal some of that thunder, bring it
You
here
know
to
what
Seattle.
I would
and-
like to see, if I may?
sure, yes.
I would like a giant, like maybe Tiamat statue at SeaTac Airport. So that when you get off a plane visiting,
I
you're
like
like,
that.
what
I
is
like that.
that? And then you're like, welcome to Seattle,
That's
the
right.
home of Dungeons and Dragons.
Right. You know what I love about that? The different colors.
Yes.
Right.
Right?
A female,
Right?
powerful
Yes.
leader.
Yes.
Evil.
Right.
Yes.
We'll ignore that part.
Is she evil
Chaotic
or
evil.
is she just misunderstood?
There you
Perhaps
go.
she
I like
was
that.
also
I
fasting.
like that. My
like
understanding
I
is
am.
she's. My understanding is she's actually
been
lawful
fasting.
evil, so she does obey the law, though it's her law.
Right.
Oh, you're right. You're right. She is lawful evil.
See, do I get +5 on nerd points there?
Absolutely.
Thank
you
you.
Yeah. Thank you very
already,
much.
I mean,
I'm going to
we
start.
were, Greg and I were actually laughing at like how much you were like selling yourself as like, we were like, he had us at state senator. He wants to be on Dragon Talk.
Because I didn't know if
Okay.
you actually. It's like
If we
they
vet
may have
our
thought I was
guests.
faking or something, you know.
We make you take a quiz.
Every guest has
Yes.
to take
Fill
a
out
nerd
this
quiz.
profile. It was pretty nerdy though, so yeah. Congratulations.
Good.
You were in already. But you sealed the deal for sure.
Yep.
But I like this Tiamat statue idea.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we need to have some representation.
It covers everything.
Well, and that you'd have a lot less people would be like, oh, that's made here.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
'Cause they
Right nearby.
Well, I'm trying to I'm arrange like a day on the hill. We do that for different causes, and so maybe tabletop gaming on the hill.
A day
and
on
bring the
the
industry.
on the Avalon Hill.
We can do that.
You want to die on that hill?
We can do that. We can have. we
I
have
did in
wizards
diplomacy.
there, and of course that includes D&D and Avalon Hill and Magic, and we have your competitors there, of course. So we've got to be
we
fair,
fully-
right?
No, we support a healthy
Yes.
gaming industry.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Rises
Some
all
local,
boats.
Yep.
local artists. That's what I want to try to do, and we're gonna work on that. So
Like
I-
we, like us.
yes,
Okay.
I'm recruiting.
I'm
you.
in.
I'm recruiting.
I think it
you.
sounds fun.
I'll be the ranger.
I would like
You
to
have
see
my bow.
D&D in every classroom.
Yeah, baby steps.
Okay.
Yes, we could.
Yeah, how does,
Tiamat statue first.
how does that work though? I mean, do you guys don't necessarily legislate for a curriculum, right? Or do you?
We can say that you have to have this type of class, and we do that. Just like I have, in order to graduate from the state of Washington, you have a certain level of math. So you can do that.
So you can be like, you have to have a 20th level character.
Yes,
to
you have
graduate.
to be
Right.
maybe 10th level.
I think if I were to do that, I don't think I'd get reelected. But
you
maybe
might.
you never know.
There's a lot
But
of
I'm telling
D&D
you,
players in this state.
I think it would actually improve scores. That's the thing. I don't think it's a crazy thing. I mean, you're
Right.
you're doing
That's
you know
true.
reading.
Yes.
You know,
Math.
comprehension is super important.
You're doing math.
Analytical, like, oh,
yeah.
this is going to be a better
Strategic.
thing to do.
Social skills are
Wow.
hugely important.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being lobbied right here on this.
Right
Dragon
here.
Talk.
That's
It's pretty
what,
amazing.
You
That's
didn't
good.
know that this was going to happen.
You're gonna have to register as lobbyist now. But crap.
I will.
That takes.
I would lobby for
There's a test
D&D
for that.
all day, every day. This is one of the things I love about D&D.
We have like two lobbies. We have a lobby upstairs and a
Right.
lobby downstairs. so
Have
we
you
can-
met Mitzi, our lobby dragon?
I 4 years ago, but I'd like to see if Mitzi's still around.
Mitzi
she's
is
still
still
around.
here.
Okay, great.
She's still around.
She's around.
Fantastic.
She's still
fantastic.
Waving her large wings. I was going to say laying eggs, but I don't think that's even
I don't think
No.
she's laid an egg in a while.
in a while.
Yeah.
That's true.
Those days are
We have
over.
to check though. Now we have to check.
She's having the change.
Is that now we need to get Chris Perkins in here and be like, do dragons go through the change of life?
That is a lore we all need to know.
Yeah. Only when they fast for 24 hours.
And thanks to Wizards, you guys are here, right? You were not Washingtonians, but you are now.
Right?
That's
Kids
true.
are.
Yeah.
Well, that-
I moved here
Chris
3 years
Perkins
ago for this.
Flew out. He moved out here.
Bart
right.
came to
He emigrated
to
here,
Seattle
right?
for Wizards. He didn't even have a job at Wizards, but he knew Wizards was here and he wanted to work here one day.
Is that all it takes?
True.
I'm giving up my job.
That's it.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
come here.
You just put it out to the universe.
And
Yeah,
it-
Wolfgang Bauer. I think he told me that he came out here too. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Right. When we talked, he said he was getting hired. No, this was Chris Perkins. Chris Perkins was getting hired to work at TSR, but it was like when the transition was happening. So they said, all right, don't report to Madison. You can go right to Seattle because that's where it's all happening. Yeah.
That's a different commute.
That's a life change.
Yeah.
there.
Exactly.
So as sometimes workers are being shipped to other places, we are importing.
Yes.
Or yes, we're importing workers, right?
Right.
So,
From
yeah,
different
that's
states,
right.
different territories
here.
sometimes.
Importing jobs, getting
See?
jobs here. That's
Yeah.
right.
And I think, gaming is a huge part of it, not just tabletop gaming, but video gaming as well, like the digital.
That's
Yeah.
true. We
idea.
have a very robust digital gaming side here. A lot of people don't know this, but Valve is right here in Washington State.
They're in Bellevue, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, of course, Microsoft. And
Yeah.
that's where
Wait,
it comes
Microsoft
from.
is here too?
Yeah.
I was just talking about Wizards and Valve. I didn't know Microsoft was here.
See, you need these huge anchor companies like Wizards and Microsoft that spin off. It's like
Amazon has a
with-
gaming arm now.
Wait, Amazon is here too? I thought they were in
You
Queens.
heard of
you
that?
know that?
I thought they were in
Wow.
Queens.
They're a new company.
You do your research.
Just starting out.
Yeah. It's a
I
little
only care about
startup.
D&D.
You
That's
gotta
what's
get out
important.
more.
But yeah, you're right. Like it makes this. I don't even when I was talking about. I used to do the video game side of things, and there weren't that many hubs of where these were, but there would generally tend to be areas where they would grow up, and because people would move there, then they start up other companies, like you said. So there end up being these little pockets of industry things happening, and I don't think I put it together that Seattle was one of them until very recently.
And a lot of it is driven why they grow is because like policies that we do from the state, and they kind of feed off that. So we have give a tax exemption to not just everyone calls it Boeing tax break. It's not just Boeing; it's for aerospace companies. And there's these small mom and pop aerospace companies that are feeding off of that, and so we can apply some of these things, I think, to the tabletop gaming industry. And we actually had an R&D tax credit that Wizards of the Coast actually used
What?
a little while. Yes, when Greg Leeds was here, he told me about that. Your former CEO.
Yeah.
You actually used that tax break for R&D for some of your games. And in fact, he was telling me that because of that, they were able to hire like 2 people, and then when it went away, and then you were kind of downsizing because the economy was crashing. You had to let them go. But that's a prime example how maybe we can bring that back, and we can refocus it, rejigger it, where we're not just helping big companies, but smaller companies.
Yeah.
And so they can hire new people.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And there's definitely the idea that people think RPG companies are these huge monoliths, but they're not. They're just
No.
people
Right.
with, some of them have 1 or 2 people who are, as you said, actually making it their job where they get like health insurance and things like that. And many of them are freelance and don't have those benefits. But a tax break like that could allow them to support their workers a lot more, and as well
Right.
maybe hire on a few more.
Well, and if you can create an association and give them access to information regarding, let's say, a pension policy, which the state can help small companies out with their own pension, so that you can create this association and then have the workers have an actual kind of retirement. It's got some little 401k just for themselves, and so
Nobody's going to be able to retire.
we've got to help. We've got to help people, Craig. So
That's where the lawful goods coming out.
that's
Yeah.
right.
I see it.
That's right.
Affordable housing for game industry professionals.
That's something I'm still a big proponent of.
Yes.
As well as those driveways. Got to make those driveways happen.
That's right.
What are you going to be playing next? You said you're now playing Dragon Heist, and you're thinking about jumping into something else after that.
Yes, so right after we're done with Dragon Heist, we'll probably have a short break. And so I'll be DMing for maybe a short period of time. Now, I might go back to the homebrew, might pull something from the Yanni portal, because there's a series of smaller adventures there.
Yeah.
And then we'll do that shortly while our main DM cobbles together something for the Mad Mage.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
See, what would be really cool is to take the characters all the way to the 20th level, because people rarely do that, and so we really want to do that.
That's sweet.
I don't think I've played over 7th level.
Oh, we're only 2nd level. Got a long ways to go.
Right, because you're just saying you just got the bar
Yeah.
in Dragon Heist, yeah.
Because Dragon Heist, I think it only goes to the 5th level.
That's
I
correct.
believe.
Yeah.
And I'm going to plug, by the way, D&D Beyond is awesome. So
Yeah.
It is awesome. Yeah.
I mean, we're old school gamers, so we use pen and paper. But now we got the thing, and we can just put in our hit points and add stuff in there. It's great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I was playing with my kids, I'll make their characters in D&D Beyond, but then print out the sheets so they have it physically in front of them. They can make whatever notes on it what they want, and that makes it a lot easier.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That way, they know all the rules on the inside.
So, did your kids respond well to D&D when you taught them?
They did.
Okay.
They did. And I want to, the hard time is the time. I think, they're going to Christmas break. I might be able to go back and.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
some
They'll
games,
be back
yeah.
from. Are they in college age or?
I have one that's going to community college. She's also in the National Guard.
Nice.
And I have my middle child, who is my child with special needs, and he was part of he represented Washington State in softball in the Special Olympics.
that's
Oh, wow.
And then my youngest child, he's 15, he's totally into hockey. So he loves hockey.
Is he excited about
Yeah.
NHL
Aren't we
coming
supposed
here?
to find
He
out
is.
today if we get our team?
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think they said
I mean,
yeah.
I might have to check that
I
out.
bet on the news it was a thumbs up
But I thought
that no hockey is coming.
I don't know. I'll believe it when my butt is in a seat and I'm watching it here at
Well,
Kirina.
you guys came from the East Coast, so
That's
it's
right.
probably hockey's a big deal.
Yes.
It's not so much over here, but it's growing.
Yeah.
know.
We there's the huge franchises and things on the New York Rangers and the Boston Bruins, and people really paid attention to those. But for some reason, ever since the Hartford Whalers left, I was always Superman. I never got into NHL. after that.
When growing up,
was like the Sonics, like they would lose
we
and
had the
people-
Binghamton
Yeah.
Whalers. We had your farm team.
You did.
Yes, and I remember when right before the season was about to start with the Binghamton Whalers, there was a big event at the mall, and my dad took my brother and I, and they were selling all of this Binghamton Whalers merchandise, and he got each of us a little stuffed whale.
Aw.
I named mine Pucky Howe after Gordie Howe,
Pucky Howe.
and my brother named his Pucky Whaler because he wasn't that creative.
Still isn't really.
What will probably happen is when they create this NHL team, they usually maybe everyone puts in suggestions and they vote. So here's your chance, all the D&D listeners out there. Maybe you can have the
man.
Seattle Tiamats or something like that. Here's your chance,
yeah.
right?
That's a great idea. Oh my
Seattle
gosh, what would it be?
Beholders.
What's a good
Seattle
ice hockey?
Mind Flayers.
But it needs to have some kind of
Seattle
frozen-
Owl Bears.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
Because you need to have a mascot, right? You
I was
gotta
gonna
have
say
And
Ice
an owl.
Method.
The who?
The Seattle Ice Methods.
what would
No?
that look like?
I don't know. Like a little evil imp type thing, but with
flump.
ice. A flump.
Oh my God, Seattle Flumps.
Seattle Flumps.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
All right, everyone.
I
when
would
it
cheer for that.
happens,
Go
we gotta push
Flumps.
that. That's right.
The vote's tomorrow morning. Okay.
What's vote?
beautiful.
For the name?
Ah,
Wait, we're already
awesome.
naming the team. We didn't even get the team
Flumps.
yet.
All right, we're gonna have to lobby hard for the Flumps. I don't know
Okay.
what's gonna happen.
Email the Seattle mayor's office. We want the Seattle Flumps.
Sweet. All right. Will we have your support?
That's right.
All right. Good.
I endorse
People
it.
there,
Steve
they're
is
gonna
endorsing
be
this.
Googling flumps. Like, why is everyone saying flump? What is a flump?
It's a fart monster. It's perfect for hockey. It's so weird.
That is the best mascot. I'm so excited.
Well, it's better than the Philadelphia Flyers one.
Oh,
The gritty.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
See?
Philadelphia doesn't have. None of
basically
them have
looks
good
like a
mascots.
D&D
None
monster.
of their sports.
Right? Or is that Pittsburgh? Was it Pittsburgh or Philadelphia?
I think it was Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
The Fanatic, he's not good either.
Oh, be careful, because there's a lot of people who like the Fanatic. There's Fanatic fans out there.
There's fanatics.
Well, thank you so much for coming and getting a chance to nerd out with us. We are, huge civics nerds too, so we were able to get into
We're trying not to
the
be.
government talk. But no, I think everybody should be doing more of that and learning about how to do it on a local level as
Absolutely.
well as the macro level too. So I wasn't joking when I think I want to play a senator in a D&D campaign. I think that's
okay.
interesting.
I'll DM it.
Maybe not
All
a
right.
senator, but like a politician.
There you go.
Figure out how
love
you
it.
can be a good leader without, allowing the power to corrupt. Absolutely.
High charisma and low intelligence.
That's me. Wait a second.
What?
That's not fantasy.
What?
That's Greg in real life.
I feel like I'm typecast. Well, thank you so much. This was awesome. I can't wait for more and more legislators to talk about D&D.
Yes.
Yep.
We'll do it.
And
Thank
to
you,
see all
Greg.
these great
you,
initiatives
Shelley.
that you're pushing through. We can't wait.
Sweet.
Thank
All right,
you.
thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
All right, guys, we are going to take a short break, and we'll be back with another interview after this with James D'Amato from One Shot RPG. He wrote a book. We're going to ask about his book.
He wrote a book.
It's a very cool book. All right, we'll be back in a little bit.
Goodbye.